What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
We're back. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome back to another episode of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Christian coming at ya. We know it's been a bit, but we've been regrouping. We've been working in the television static shadows, if you will, and working, plotting, and scheming to prepare this show to be bigger and better than ever in 2024.
2024 global takeover.
You heard it here first. But we got a fun show for you tonight. We're going to break down the week of A24 because every headline from TV and movies this week seems to be just full-on, full throttle coming from A24. We're going to do our 2023 rewind and our 2024 fast forward. And then, of course, we'll get into the streaming platform, Multiverse, news and notes. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. We're going to get a little more active on Threads. They have really bolstered the user interface and the user friendliness on there. So we are going to be embarking full send on Threads, and you can follow us on TikTok at StreamerSZN Pod. Follow Christian on Twitter at @thewiz_PHI. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps more people find StreamerSZN. And in those comments, in those reviews, leave your show movie recommendations. Let us know what you're watching. We'll add it to the list. We'll see what everybody else is watching, what you want us to watch and throw into our mix as well. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show, every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We are at a company-wide initiative to get to 700 or more subscribers before that big, shiny ball in Times Square drops on New Year's Eve. We are currently at 670 subscribers. 30 more of you, at least. Let's get that done. Let's make it happen. Before the ball drops, let's get to 700 or more subscribers here on the YouTube channel and make it happen. Christian, it's good to be back, brother.
It's wonderful to be back.
The week of A24 happened at a perfect time because we're back and A24 is booming and bigger than ever, and it's brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company, the best merch partners in the game. If you want to be comfortable this hoodie season, this holiday season, and have one of the coolest hoodies out there from any company, it's the StreamerSZN hoodie. It is the most comfortable hoodie I own. I wear it whenever I go to the movies, whenever I'm lounging around watching shows and movies at home. It is on my body. It should be on yours too. You can get a StreamerSZN shirt as well, or your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia podcasts all have merch at phiapparel.co. And when you go to checkout, use code Underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. Most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing at Underground Sports Philadelphia. So get your merch, and when you get it, tweet it at us, tag us on Instagram, tag us on Threads, TikTok, whatever it may be. We'll repost it and share it on all of our social channels. That's phiapparel.co, so you can stand out in the crowd and use code Underground for 10% off your order. Christian, it is the week of A24. Every headline that has popped up, movie and TV wise, seems to be A24, at least in my algorithm. And it all
It is the week
started.
of my babies. My baby A24.
Daddy's home. And it all got started with HBO Max, whatever you want to call it, signing an exclusive deal with A24 so that all A24 movies will go to Max to stream.
Which I do think it should be noted, in case people didn't know, that they already had a deal to put up just a select collection of titles and not the entire catalog. So this is just more so backing up and extending beyond what they already have set up. And as I've said, I've said many times, this just fits this fits both the Max and the A24 brand supremely well, because Max is I would argue, the best collection of quality content, movies and TV of any streaming service, and they also have the highest standards, and A24 is a brand that fits that creative style and artistic standard to such a high level.
And I think it's cool because I think a lot of people like in your realm of movie consumption who are going and seeing A24 and finding where it's at and everything
Probably have Max.
probably have Max, which will then it also makes it more accessible to the casual, movie watcher who hears about a movie, hears about, an A24 project and doesn't necessarily know when to go see it, whatever it may be, and then boom, it's available for you at the palm of your hands with a remote to watch it on HBO Max
At some point,
if that's how you want to consume it. And I also think because they're backlogging everything, it's a good way for people who may have missed out on certain movies and everything to go back, watch what they missed out on, and see if it's something that they would have enjoyed. And then it gives people just an opportunity to dive into, A24, which I think is easily like the fastest growing in just popularity terms alone, movie studio out there.
And what I would say is like kind of even more, I don't think remarkable is the right word, but what makes this such a great deal is if you look at the back catalog of A24, which I'm just going to pull this up real quick. Because yes, they do have some stinkers we don't need to acknowledge, but it's like, so their first one was in 2013. Spring Breakers, Bling Ring, Spectacular Now, Enemy, Under the Skin, Lock. Your mileage may vary on Tusk. I personally will never watch that movie. Ex Machina, which is an amazing movie. Room, which Brie Larson won her Oscar for, if I remember correctly. Green Room, The Lobster, Swiss Army Man, American Honey, Moonlight, 20th Century Woman, A Ghost Story, Good Time, Florida Project, Killing of the Sacred Deer, Lady Bird, Disaster Artist, First Reformed, Hereditary, 8th Grade, like they and what mid 90s, Climax, High Life, The Souvenir, Midsummer, like they're getting the Ari Aster catalog, which I think is just potentially one of the best catalogs to just have, because those two, between Aster and Eggers, those two make up kind of the modern standard canon of quality horror when you discount Peele, because Peele just kind of jumps around. It's like, who will fund my projects? Which all the power to you, Jordan. Just keep making them. But it's kind of just like there's so many films that will add to an already immensely strong A24, an already strong Max catalog filled with all the Warner Brothers and other films that they own the rights to, that it just creates, in terms of older content, the best streaming service, period, end of story. Like I don't think, based on purely stuff that already is out in the world, a better service.
Well said. Yeah, I think it's huge for just the accessibility factor for the not so diehard, and for the diehard, it gives you a chance to have an entire catalog to dive back in on and rewatch and go back through and critique one way or the other if you like something, if you miss something. I think it's a very smart deal for both sides to have that catalog coming to Max.
Which good, as weird as this is to say, good job, Zaslav. Like it's genuinely a insanely smart business choice.
Yeah, and speaking of business choices, another A24 headline this week that came through is The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, going to be working on an A24 project.
Now I want you to read the description first before I go into my thing about this.
I gotta find. I'm scrolling through to.
Because I think this is like as close to getting a made for Dwayne Johnson A24 film as it could possibly get.
So, Benny Safdie, who I absolutely love, and many of you may know him nerd-wise on the screen from him appearing in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series as an extra.
Which I will note, one half of the Safdie brothers, which this film is, which they are no longer making films together, though this is not like Oasis where both brothers hate each other. It's just one wants to pursue acting more and the others doing more directing stuff.
Mm-hmm. So Benny Safdie is going to direct Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, in A24 movie about MMA legend Mark Kerr.
I didn't know it was a Mark Kerr thing.
Yeah, it's as MMA and UFC champion Mark Kerr. Per A24, the film marks, quote, The Rock's move into his most dramatic project and role yet. The movie's logline reads, The Smashing Machine is a drama based on the story of Mark Kerr, the legendary MMA fighter from the no-holds-barred era of the UFC. At the peak of his career, he struggles with addiction, winning, love, and friendship in the year 2000. Kerr, an American former wrestler and MMA icon, was a two-time UFC heavyweight tournament champion and World Vale Tudo, I may have butchered that,
It's fine.
championship tournament winner. Over the course of his career, he won over 24 MMA titles. In 2003, Kerr was the subject of an HBO documentary, also titled The Smashing Machine.
So, what's most fascinating about this is The Rock taking on a capital A acting role, which is the first time ever he's done that. And I couldn't be like, I'm someone who is a notable, like, Dwayne Johnson is one of the biggest stars, but he's not one of the best actors. But that's also because he doesn't give himself the chance to do dramatic stuff, because he's very much focused on the brand of Dwayne Johnson and not the actual acting career of Dwayne Johnson. Which that's like My biggest gripe with him has always been that for as big of a star as he doesn't utilize it in the best possible way because he could be doing so many great things, and instead he just does, I'm going to make. Where's the full? I need his full filmography because there we go. Thank you, Wikipedia. Like, he's been making Fast and Furious, G.I. Joe, Jumanji, like
Moana.
well, so I would argue Moana was his last like serious acting thing, and even then, it was
Voice acting.
yeah. But before that, I would argue, even though it was like satire, Pain Gain is probably his last like pseudo serious thing that he did, which it's a movie that has its following, but The Rock has never done just a proper character study, and now he's faced with doing a proper character study, and I want him to do well in this. Like because The Rock doing good in an A24 film shows that A, The Rock is a better actor than people give him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
But B, it also means more people are going to go see an A24 movie.
I would also love to have The Rock on this show to talk about what made him decide to jump into this project.
Baby
because
steps.
I have a
baby
theory.
Steps.
I have a theory.
Ooh. Do tell.
Writer's strike and everything happening this summer. Obviously, we saw both John Cena and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson return to the WWE for a stint. I'm curious if that like sparked his want into diving into different roles, because more so than anything else, The Rock for Dwayne Johnson is a character study. It's something he has to get into character for and perform with, and it's arguably his greatest role ever. I wonder how much of getting back into the WWE for that stint over the summer maybe sparked something in him to say, hey, I want to branch out. I want to try different things with my career. And A24 is something that is complete polar opposite of what everyone knows me to be in my acting career. Let's go for it. And it's something that he's passionate about. It's combat sports. It's in his DNA to be able to channel something like that. And I'm wondering if even just a little bit of his return to the WWE just spark plugged his want to kind of branch out in his creativity.
I will say that it couldn't have been a better project just purely based on the subject.
100%.
Because because for The Rock to do a serious character study, I think it has to be a character he can actually somewhat relate to and understand. And MMA is close enough to wrestling, and I also think is Kernot Samoan or Polynesian heritage. Oh, sorry. He's Puerto Rican. I just got myself maybe trouble. I don't know, but it's fine. But it is something that I'm as where does it say I'm looking forward to an A24 movie? Sorry, pardon. I'm looking forward to a Dwayne Johnson movie. Like I'm actively like, all right, Dwayne, show us what you got, because this could actually be like us finally giving The Rock his props. So here's the hoping.
There's a little more right up here in this Variety article. We'll link this in the description as well. Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia's $7 Productions will produce alongside Safdie's Out for the Count banner, Eli Bush and David Copeland. Safdie and Johnson have collaborated on the Smashing Machine since Johnson first acquired the rights to the project in 2019. A24 joined as producer and financer. Dwayne and Benny are singular talents, and they shared vision for Mark's inspiring story is electrifying. We are deeply honored to have their trust as collaborators in bringing this incredibly special project to life, said A24's Noah Sacco in a statement. And obviously, Safdie, who rose to fame with his brother Josh as the co-director of beloved crime thrillers Uncut Gems and Good Time, writes and directs The Smashing Machine, his first solo project. Safdie currently stars opposite Nathan Fielder in Showtime's The Curse, which the pair co-created, co-directed, and co-wrote and co-produced. Safdie has spent more time in front of the camera recently with meaty roles in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer and Kelly Freeman Craig's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Yeah, so I the most interesting part of that is basically that Dwayne went with A24.
Yeah.
Because that's a very conscious choice you have to make, and also choosing Benny Safdie is a very conscious choice.
Yes.
Those are two very conscious choices of wanting to do something more artistic. And Dwayne, and you're not listening, but all I'm asking is that I know you like having control of things, but I'm kindly asking you to give them a little more control in this film and not have you fully manhandle this. Because I don't want this to turn into one of your normal films. I want this to hopefully be like truly one of the great independent films we will talk about the year it comes out. So please, Dwayne, I hope you do this well.
Yeah, because I mean, not only is it going to bring in obviously just Dwayne The Rock Johnson fans, not only is it going to bring in from the film side of things like Safdie Brothers fans for Benny Safdie, it's going to bring in that MMA UFC fandom as well, which is a rabid fan base.
Joe Rogan, come on down.
Will Joe Rogan finally watch a movie in the year of our Lord 2024? Find out next time. But it's going to bring in that rabid UFC and MMA fan base as well, which I think is huge for this film. So if they pull all the strings properly, I think this movie could be, a must-see label on it.
Yeah, like this is what's the right about this? This has a chance to be A24's biggest film.
Yeah.
Because Everything Everywhere All at Once was their biggest at like just over 100, I think. And this is going to draw, and now this will probably be PG-13 to rated R. I mean, no, it'll be rated R probably because of drugs and everything.
Yeah.
But it'll basically have such a global audience because of The Rock. It'll have such a domestic audience, and it'll have all of us art house homies going. That it's like, if this is actually good, this will do numbers, as we like to say. This will do numbers, folks.
This is Christian's Multiverse of Madness.
No, but
I was meaning the way you were describing domestic, all that kind of branching out.
Box office mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. The next moment of A24 this week, California and Texas are going to splinter off from the U.S. in a civil war? Question mark.
Okay. Let me click here for a second. I don't know what's going on with Alex Garland. I have hope for this film because, first of all, hello, President Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
Hey. Alex Garland, for the people who don't know, is a British writer director, and you may know his name most from the aforementioned movie Ex Machina, which he wrote and directed, and was technically his directorial debut. Although many people who know film will know that he basically directed 2012's Dread and wrote it, but because of the dispute with the director who ended up kind of directing a bunch of it, then something happened. He's not credited as the director. He also wrote 28 Days Later and Sunshine, but in his directing, it's been going progressively a little more questionable as time has gone. So his first credited directorial debut is Ex Machina, which I think is just a perfect movie and has one of the strangest Oscar Isaac dance scenes you will ever see. That is amazing, and also you're just watching, you're going, what the fuck? Then he goes and does an Annihilation, in which he adapts a hard sci-fi film with Natalie Portman, which is fascinating. It's a little flawed, but it's fascinating, and I really enjoy it. Then last year he does Men, which is a film that's more interesting in concept than is in action, and it just kind of failed miserably. And now he's doing Civil War, which it's basically U.S. is splintering off, and Kirsten Dunst is a reporter who's breaking into D.C. to get pictures of people, and Nick Offerman's the president, and Jesse Plemons is a racist cop they run into.
Shocker!
Which I would just like to say it's becoming so funny how him and Kirsten Dunst are together and things together always, because spoiler, they're married in real life. So I'm not sure if they're just a package deal at this point.
Jesse Plemons is the most typecast actor in Hollywood. Changed my mind.
Let's see. Are we talking him like the last 12 years? Because lest we forget, he was in Varsity Blues, guys. But like the Master, Bridge of Spies, Black Mass, American Made, Hostiles, The Post, the Irishman, I'm thinking of Ending Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Power of the Dog, Killers of the Flower Moon, now Civil War,
White House Plumbers.
Yeah, Game Night. Probably my favorite joke stemming from his appearance in the trailer was people making the "How is Frito-Lay profitable" joke from Game Night, I think it was, and like. Do I think this movie's going to be great? No. Am I interested to see where he goes with this? Yes. Can it be worse than Men? I don't tangibly think it can. I'm just hoping for like a 6 or a 7 out of this stuff and get back on track.
Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't White House Plumbers. He's in Love and Death with Elizabeth Olsen.
But it's just kind of like, I am looking for this at the bare minimum to be a somewhat normal, because it's definitely the most quote unquote normal story, in which she's telling a pseudo war film. But I'm just hoping that this isn't horrific. I'm hoping it's somewhat a return to form. So yeah.
Also very ironic that Kirsten Dunst is now the one snapping pictures of people. Spider-Man.
Does whatever a spider can.
Quite the reaction to this trailer as well on the interwebs.
Yeah, that was like that's part of my hesitancy in this film, because all due respect politically, but this kind of feels like part of the Sorkin criticism canon, where it's like this is such a liberal-looking film that it almost risks being too liberal to a fault and not centrist-ish enough, and it's just a mess.
I also saw a lot of people, which it was very funny reading the comments saying California and Texas coming together at least make something that's feasible.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. If you think about it, people are leaving California to go to Texas because of taxes. So in theory, this is a world where it's just people from California have taken over Texas, and then it's just both Californias merging together. I'm not saying that's an actual thing, but I'm just theorizing.
True. So that was another A24 headline, along with, as we record this on Thursday night, a Death Stranding movie in the works.
Kojima.
A24. Christian, talk to the people.
Okay, so the people who don't know, Hideo Kojima, who is maybe, in terms of the last 20 years, the most influential game designer in that time. And so for those who don't know, he's responsible for all of the Metal Gear films. He is responsible for, well, he did some work on Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Death Stranding, which is the film from 2019, which people jokingly call a walking simulator, or Amazon Prime delivery simulator. And then a demo for a demo called PT, which was supposed to be a demo for Silent Hills, which got canceled, but it's considered one of the great horror games. And he now has a game coming out sometime called OD, which is with Jordan Peele, which that'll be the scariest film in existence. Which, by the way, Kyle, do you know who he made PT with?
I do not.
He made it with Guillermo del Toro. And so Kojima's working with A24 to make a Death Stranding movie. Kojima is one of the greatest cinephiles who doesn't make movies you will ever see. This is a man whose Twitter is filled with pictures of him with celebrities. Like he'll just post photos with Jordan Peele. He got invited to the Criterion Closet, which is rare for anyone who's not an actor, director type figure. He's constantly posting movie reviews. He posted a Dune poster because it had someone who he's done work with. And so what I would say is notable about Death Stranding is because the game's very realistic looking because of it's done with a lot of motion capture. We basically already know who should be in this cast. It should be Norman Reedus in the title role, and you should have my beloved Mads Mikkelsen, Lea Seydoux, Margaret Qualley, and Troy Baker also show up in this film, reprising their roles. Because basically, you already have a bunch of A-list people cast here. It'll already look similar to the game. Kojima finally gets to make his movie, even if he shadow directs it. Just give him directing credit so he can add it and say he finally directed a film. But this is something I'm going to be keeping track of because this is a fascinating decision that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Yeah, and I mean, am I wrong? Like, this feels like the most constant pipeline of A24 news in a single week we've gotten in a while.
So
like almost every day.
Yeah, so excluding the max thing, because that's just kind of updating the terms of a deal. This is the most news we've gotten about A24 films, but I also think that's because we've been sitting here for 4 or 5 months with a strike, so we finally have news that's coming out.
That's valid.
So I'm not gonna put that much stock into it, but yeah, it's definitely been a good week for us old A24 heads.
Yeah. So let us know in the YouTube comment section your thoughts on all the A24 news. What projects that we just ran down that you're looking forward to? Are you excited about A24 heading to Max? Let us know in the YouTube comment section. Be sure to subscribe and smash that like button and ring the bell icon as well. But Christian, let's move into our next segment. It's brought to you by our pals at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game, from sunglasses to blue light glasses. If you're a skier or snowboarder, they've got you covered with the ski goggles. And they've got prescription lenses. Tomahawk Shades have been rocking with us for years. You guys should be doing the same. Protect your eyes. It's the best small batch eyewear in the game for a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies. Go to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store or Google Play. And when you go to checkout, after you fill up your cart with everything you need to protect your eyeballs from the sun, from the blue light rays, use code USP for 25% off your order. They don't just hand out 25% off discount codes to anybody. So go use that thing. Take advantage of it. Treat yourself this holiday season. And go to TomahawkShades.com or download the app in the App Store or Google Play and use code USP for 25% off your order from Tomahawk Shades. Our 2023 Rewind felt like a good time to set the tone with this one and look back at the oh-so-naive lists that we made.
No, one of us was naive.
Hey, almost a year ago, December 29th was when we made these lists. Christian and I will also be making our 2024 lists as well. And we will look ahead to what's to come in 2024. But Christian, our 2023 rewind, if you will. In some spots, we were good. In some spots, we were bad. And in some spots, the projects didn't even release.
Yes. Okay. So let's start with our streaming project lists and go 10-1. So my number 10 was a tie between Napoleon on Apple TV and The Three Body Problem on Netflix. Three Body Problem hasn't come out yet. It's something that I took off my list for this year, but I still have hope for because it's being done by the co-creators of Game of Thrones. So I'm like, I have a level of hope of this. And Napoleon was the classic case of a Ridley Scott film that looks good, but it's a mess. So, I'm calling that a net loss there. What was your number 10?
My number 10 was Kaleidoscope, which was the Choose Your Own Adventure show on Netflix. That there was 6 different paths that you could go down, and I heard it was like one of those fad type of shows that a lot of people watched it for like a week or two, and then obviously it died off because people found out all the answers to the endings and everything. But that was my number 10. What was your number 9?
This feels low looking at it now, but given what we knew at this point, Last of Us Season 1, which, thinking about it now, I need to quickly make a correction to my list for this year's rewind to quickly fix that. So, but it should be, given the stuff that didn't come out and the stuff I haven't seen yet, this should be 3rd or 4th.
My number 9 was Hunters Season 2, which I was thoroughly impressed with and should have been much, much higher on my list. Actually, I'm reading my list. No, I'm not. I'm good. I thought I was reading my list in reverse order by accident. Actually, I am. I am reading my list in reverse order.
So your number 1 was what?
My number 1 was Hunters. Kaleidoscope was like moved because I typed it in like later, but I
Okay, hold
Kaleidoscope
on.
again.
10 was
10 was
what was 10?
Velma
We don't need to talk about that. It's
at
just
all.
big X, bad by
Big
you,
oops. Big oops.
and Kyle. I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you.
Number 9 was Kaleidoscope.
Fair. Okay. My number 8. It's yet to come out. It's coming out in February. Argyle, which is the new Matthew Vaughn spy film, which I, I, I don't know how good it'll be now that we've finally seen a trailer, but I'm gonna have fun watching it. So really, that's all I can ask for. What was your number 8?
My number 8 was The Last of Us Season 1, which should 100% be higher on the list, obviously. But I went into that being someone who never played the video game, so I didn't know what to expect from it. But obviously, The Last of Us was our number 1 show on the score docket this year. So that would obviously be much higher in hindsight. But number 8 was The Last of Us.
My number 7 was a show we still technically have to finish, Kyle. Ted Lasso season 3, which it kind of got off the rails. It was diminishing quality, but I had an okay time with it. I'm not mad that I put it on there, but I also think there's maybe better things I could have put on there.
My number 7 was the show that got cut off mid-watch because I got logged out of my Max account, White House Plumbers, which I was thoroughly enjoying. Just still have to finish it because I got halfway through and then Zaslav was like, we're logging you out. Get him out. But I was thoroughly enjoying White House Plumbers, so I will eventually finish that.
My number 6 we can't talk about. It is Maestro, the upcoming Bradley Cooper Netflix film about Leonard Bernstein. So I'm sure we'll circle back around that in the new year. Kyle, what was your number 6?
I just have to piggyback off of that. Go Birds, Super Bowl over Oscar.
He truly diseased. Truly fucking diseased.
One of us.
My
My number 7 was are we on 7?
6.
6, I'm sorry. Math is hard. Was a show I didn't get to watch because, again, logged out of the Max account. Love and Death.
Yeah.
I heard mixed reviews on, so eventually we'll get to it.
My number 5 is Loki Season 2, which, again, I'd probably put this down a few spots based on what's currently on here. But, it was pretty solid TV at the start and the end. Middle was a little iffy, but, things happen.
My next one, number 5, was The Mandalorian Season 3, which I think fits in perfectly where I put it. I thought it was a very solid season. Wasn't the best thing, wasn't the worst thing. But I thought they did a great job with it, and it's going to lead into just more great shit from Dave Filoni's Mandoverse. So number 5, I feel pretty good about where that landed. What's your number 4, Christian?
Number 4 is something we'll be talking about at the end of January because it hasn't come out yet. Masters of the Air, which, Kyle, I know you're excited for.
Oh, yeah.
What was your number 4?
My number 4, again, we can kind of put a big red X on it. It was more expectation than anything. It was Secret Invasion.
Yeah. Well,
Bummer.
Yeah. In terms of my number 3, a movie we need to drag Dylan on here to talk about, David Fincher's The Killer, which is objectively one of the funniest films of the year that also has some of the best criticism of society in the year. Just everyone watch it. It's dark, it's cynical, it's wonderful.
My number 4 did not come out because of
number 3.
I'm sorry, number 3. That's why my list is also wonky because I had a tie for number 1. My number 3 was Agatha Coven of Chaos, which is now titled Agatha Darkhold Diaries, which still has not come out yet, and that is coming in 2024. So we move right along.
Number 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. Yep. Marty did it. Basically a perfect film. Nothing else to say.
My next up was Loki Season 2.
No notes.
No notes. It was very fun. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
And then my number 1, the best TV show of the year. The show I'm still trying to pressure Kyle into actually watching because it'll be the funniest thing and darkest thing and most hilarious time he will have watching TV. It was the final season of Succession, which killed, it murdered. It's going to win all the awards at all the award shows in the next month, and I'm going to be smiling ear to ear as I continually pressure you to watch the best show since the end of Mad Men.
My tie at number 1 was a show that did come out and a show that did not come out. The one that didn't come out was Mega Man, that's coming to Netflix, I believe, this year. And I forget if it's a movie or a show. But either way, didn't happen this year. But it is still happening, which is exciting. And then also number 1 was Hunter Season 2, which, well, I wish that show got like 4 more seasons because it's fucking awesome. I love that show. It is so entertaining, and like the fucking plot twists that they throw at you all the time. Logan Lerman is phenomenal in that show. If you haven't watched Hunters, it's literally 2 seasons of some of the best TV I've watched, especially if you're a World War II Holocaust history like savant like I am and just can't get enough of like learning about that time period, because the show, while it is exaggerated for television dramatic effect, it's based on true events, which is fascinating. And Hunter's fucking rocks. Plus Al Pacino is in the show. Like, you can't go wrong. And then I also had my honorable mention, which I haven't gotten my sister's Hulu login yet. Was How I Met Your Father, simply because I love Hilary Duff.
Okay, and that wraps up that. Did you have a most anticipated movies list, Kyle?
I did not.
Okay, so let me quickly run down mine. Number 10 was Ferrari. I'm yet to see it. Number 9 was Maestro. I'm yet to see it. Number 8 was Barbie. I found Barbie amusing. Barbie's not going to be one of my top 10 movies of the year, but you know, it was definitely worthy of the placing. 7 was Challengers, the Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, Mike Weiss tennis movie. That's a love triangle. Got pushed. Sad. Coming out in 2024. The Killer at number 6. Yep. Killers of the Flower Moon at 5. Yep. Oppenheimer at 4. Yep. Across the Spider-Verse at 3. Big yeps. Dune Part 2 at 2. Angry Zaslav sounds. And number 1, I was disappointed in this film. That being said, I was still there to see it. I saw it 2 times, enjoyed it both times. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Did it live up to Mission Impossible Fallout, the film that preceded it? No. But I had a good time, yeah. And then my a few of my honorable mentions were Beau is Afraid, which that film happened. That film's one of the strangest films you will watch. That's definitely in the Barbarian line in terms of an A24 film that I need to get you to watch, Kyle, just to have you go, what the fuck?
Did you just reference what I think you just referenced?
Barbarian?
Fucking movie.
I had Poor Things as an honorable mention, which I'm yet to see, but I probably wish it would have been top 10 now. And then the Bike Riders, which we were going to see, but then strike gets it pushed to June, and it's sold to another studio. But yeah, I think that's our 2023 recapped. Shall we fast forward?
I will add movie that I was looking forward to that did deliver.
The Machine.
Yes, 100%. And also Guardians 3.
True.
I thought Guardians 3 was a banger. Trying to think of what other. Oh, also the return of like just good, solid comedy movies this year was A1. Like The Machine. I always forget the name of the movie, but the one with Jennifer Lawrence.
No Hard Feelings.
Yes. Like shit like that is like what we need. I think you and I talked about this on an episode after I saw that movie. Like we need more people making stuff like that because while it's not going to blow people out of the water at the box office, while it's not going to, win awards and everything, those are good, fun movies. And both The Machine and No Hard Feelings felt like that, like, late 2000s, early 2010s era of good, fun comedy movies. And I need more of that moving forward. It was a good resurgent year for those.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to quickly run down our best shows of 2023? Or am I just running down my best shows of 2023? Then we're flashing forward.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll save our overall list for next week. Like the scores list.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We'll save it for next week.
So my number 10 is a tie between Jury Duty, which is on Freevee, which is a very, very amusing show which you can watch, and then Daisy Joan and the Six, which is on Amazon Prime Video, and it is based on a book that's inspired by Fleetwood Mac. So you can think about that. Number 9 was Barry Season 3. Barry started as a funny comedy, turned into one of the best dark, black comedy dramas. Number 8, this was a late edition. My Adventures with Superman on Max. Just such an enjoyable, refreshing show that Kyle, I need to get you to watch this. Number 7, Only Murders in the Building, just pure fun, pure unadulterated
my parents are
weekly fun
with that show.
It's such a fun show, Kyle. Please join us. Please join us. Number 6, Our Beloved Poker Face. Just such a fun show. Unbelievably fun. Show. Number 5 is still technically going on now, but this is another show I need to push you to watch, Kyle. Slow Horses. Just pound for pound, one of the best shows in terms of weekly enjoyment, and just Gary Oldman being an absolute British annoyance piece of shit spy master. Like, it is a blast. Number 4, a very late edition in terms of the year, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I love this so much. I love this so much. I'm so happy it exists. It's a shame Dylan's been unavailable for us to drag him on so he and I can talk about that. But it rules. Number 3 is The Bear, Season 2. Which, towards the end of the season, has maybe the most stressful episode of television I've watched. And it's set at a Christmas family dinner, which, Kyle, I'm going to read you off the cast of this episode. So it has your core cast of Jeremy Allen White, Evan Moss Backrack, and Abby Elliott. But then we get the absolute murderer's row. Maddie Matheson, Oliver Platt, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Mulaney, Bob Odenkirk, Sarah Paulson, John Bernthal, and it's
No. Wait.
See, Kyle, I hate to tell you this, but because it's told in flashback, I have to inform you that character killed himself.
No.
And him killing himself is what gets Jeremy Allen White's character to come back to Chicago. But it is the most stressful, anxiety-inducing episode of television you may ever watch. So I highly encourage you to pick up The Bear as well, which is a bunch of 30-minute episodes all the way through. And then they gave this one an hour. And it's unbelievable. Number 2 is The Last of Us. Just also had one of the best episodes of television this year in long time. The third episode, just supreme piece of filmmaking. And then number 1, anyone who knows me, we already talked about it. Succession season 4, bada bing, bada boom, best show of the last 10ish years. We did it, folks. We landed the plane. Kyle, I'm getting you to start the show within the next year.
So there is that.
Flash forward.
Let's fast forward to 2024. We will have our most anticipated list for 2024. And obviously at this time in 2024, we will look back on this and see how correct, how wrong, or how many just didn't premiere. We have on our lists. Christian, before we started recording, added 2 to my list already.
Yes,
which is amazing.
And I will say I went into this with a long list of 23 shows, but that's also because shows and movies. But that's also because there's stuff I would have put on here, but I didn't because I just didn't know if it's 100% coming out, and we don't know when it's coming out. So I'll talk about those in my honorable mentions. But anything else you want to add ahead of time?
I have a list that I am still sort of compiling, but I've got a good chunk carved out here of things I'm looking forward to for 2024. I don't have them in a particular order per se, like we did last year, but I do have a good list of things that I'm looking forward to for the coming year on TV in terms of television.
Shall I start?
I will give the floor to you, good sir.
So picking a number 10 was my hardest one because there's as we said, there's a lot of shows I like. And while I'm 99% sure we get a new season of Slow Horses next, towards the back end of next year, I'm hedging my bets and not putting it on the list. So thus, Three Body Problem on Netflix gets to stick around at 10 for one more year. If I had Slow Horses 100% confirmed, which I probably will, in about 2 weeks. when it wraps up, I'm just going to say Slow Horses would be my number 5 show because that's how much I love this show. But right now I have Three Body Problem at 10, which for those of you who don't know, it's a very hard sci-fi series that is being adapted by the Game of Thrones showrunners. So there's given the clips and trailers, I'm a little skeptical, but I'm putting a little blind faith there. Kyle, what you got?
The first show on my list is obviously going to kick us off in the new year because of how soon it is once 2024's calendar comes into play. Obviously, very much just from the singular trailer we've gotten so far and what the tone seems to be of said show, I'm very much looking forward to Echo coming to DisneyPlus and Hulu right at the beginning of the new year, January 11th.
Yeah, I only included one show that's going to be on Disney Plus in my entire list, and that's solely because I need Disney to prove it to me before I actually start giving them more stuff.
I think I only have 3 on my list so far, but take that for what you will. The next show on my list that I'm very much looking forward to because I feel like it's going to be an absolute masterpiece, and I'm going to full send watch this. Avatar: The Last Airbender coming to Netflix.
That I believe was one of my honorable mentions. So that's something we're definitely going to do on the show, Kyle.
Totally. I think that show is gonna fucking rock.
Speaking of Netflix stuff, my number 9, and this is one we have no sense confirmed date on if this is going to be in 2024 at all, but this is me doing it based on production dates and stuff. Squid Game Season 2,
It's also on my list.
because they started filming in August, and in theory they could get it out by Christmas. And while I don't think it'll come out, this is something that I'm going to put here thinking it'll come out, because the other stuff I either don't feel like putting on, or I'm like, this doesn't feel top 10ish enough, which I'll unpack those at the end of my list. But yeah, Squid Game Season 2.
I like that. Obvious one that is on the list that will hopefully we'll have Dylan on before this comes out this summer.
Number 8.
House of the Dragon Season 2.
Yeah, the only reason I don't have this is because I've never watched a single thing of Game of Thrones and stuff. So
Neither did I until we did House of the Dragon Season 1, Christian. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
House of the Dragon Season 1 was pretty fucking sweet.
Like, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying I haven't really felt the need to invest the time into that.
I was genuinely happy that I haven't watched anything Game of Thrones. Like, everybody who listens to this podcast knows that, because that's our 1,000 subscriber reward for everyone, is that I watched Season 1 of Game of Thrones. But I was genuinely, like, happy that I didn't have a single premise of Game of Thrones, really, outside of bits and pieces here and there that have obviously, like, broken through the pop culture barrier into the mainstream. But I was very happy that, like, I went in and this is like my first taste of Game of Thrones is House of the Dragon, especially because it's a prequel.
Yeah. Speaking of Max shows, I'm gonna pick what's known as Baby Succession, also known as Industry Season 3, which is a British show that shares a lot of similarities in terms of things with Succession, but the season apparently, crap, is it Sebastian Stan that's joining the cast, or it's who's joining the cast for Season 3? Because they're throwing in a few new people. Who am I missing? Harry Lottie, David Johnson, Kinlung, Sarah Parrish. Oh, sorry, Kit Harington. Kit Harington is who I was thinking of. So yeah, it's a nice cast. It's my type of show. So yeah, that Industry Season 3.
A carryover, so I'll double up here because this was on my list last year, but obviously the strike impacted its release. Agatha Darkhold Diaries is on my list for sure because Catherine Hahn is phenomenal. But coupling in there, it feels like the year of animation from Marvel, and to get a mature audience's label on an animated show from Marvel, it has me intrigued. I'm excited for Marvel Zombies. On top of the fact that I love that comic run, so I'm excited to see how it kind of parallels. I know Iman Vellani is involved with the project. I don't know if I know she's like in the show as a voice actor, but I don't know if she's also doing any writing or anything. But her writing for her Miss Marvel comic run that's out right now is fantastic. So she is writing. Sign me up even more. But I have Marvel Zombies on my list.
My number 7. I don't know if you know about this one, Kyle. Do you know the movie Time Bandits?
I do not. I don't think.
So it is this exceptionally weird Terry Gilliam movie from 1981. Which anyone who knows anything about Terry Gilliam, it's strange because for those of you who don't know, Terry Gilliam was part of Monty Python. But it's basically a young history buff can scarcely believe it when 6 dwarves emerge from his closet one night, and he eventually follows them in, and it's time traveling stuff. And so Apple's adapting it into a TV show, and Taika Waititi's involved. I am cautiously curious about this, because Taika himself has been extremely miss recently, except with Reservation Dogs, which he's only a producer on. Time Bandits is really wonky. It could fit the Taika style. It also could be an abject disaster. But I'm just so fascinated by this that I had to put it on my list.
Next up on my list, pulling it back up here.
And that's on Apple TV in case I didn't say that.
My next show is on Max, The Penguin, the spin-off show from Matt Reeves' The Batman.
That was one of my hard honorable mentions to leave off. It's just that I need a little more.
Yeah,
I need a little more film to judge it.
I want to see more from that universe just built out, and this is obviously the first step with that since the movie released. But I'm very excited for The Penguin on Max.
My number 6. Join me, my friends. Join me in my TARDIS. We are talking about Doctor Who Series 14, which officially will be moving to DisneyPlus in the new year with our new Doctor, Mr. Ncuti Gatwa. And yeah, just from his short appearance in the 60th anniversary specials, and we'll get the Christmas special soon, he looks like he'll be a lot of fun.
The next project on my list was one of the ones that Christian showed me before we started recording, The Sympathizer on Max. Sign me all the way up.
You got too low, Holmes.
I did mention that I didn't have them in numerical order. I had my list. But it is up there. I was very hooked from about midway through that trailer.
My number 5 is Arcane Season 2, which is on Netflix. So for those of you who don't know, Arcane is basically based on the lore of the League of Legends games. Season 1 got a bunch of awards. It was highly critically praised. And we have Season 2 coming out this year. That instantly kind of bumps it towards the top.
My next one is one that I don't know if you've heard of, but I was perusing my list, and anybody, like I mentioned earlier, I am a just like savant and want to know as much and get as much in the best way possible about Holocaust history. It just fascinates me. Coming to Peacock, The Tattooist. I want to get the full name correct. The Tattooist of Auschwitz.
Yes, I have heard about this.
Coming to Peacock. The synopsis for everybody. Lael Sokolov, a Jewish prisoner in the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp during World War II, is given a job of tattooing identification numbers on fellow prisoners' arms. This is fascinating to me. I am all in. This is based on a book as well with the same name. I'm all in on this. Sign me up. And for this to be on Peacock too, I think that's a great get for Peacock. Scored by who we were talking about pre-show, Hans Zimmer.
Very busy man. Very busy man.
But I'm definitely all in. I will definitely be watching that.
My number 4 is Masters of the Air. The Steven Spielberg produced, Austin Butler starring. I believe it's World War II or Korean. I don't remember what war film about series about pilots that'll be on Apple TV. World War II pilots on Apple TV. I had it on my list last year. It's slightly lower, but it's just such an insanely high floor. Spielberg's producing. Kerry Joji Fukunawa is directing most of them. Like I'm just like at bare minimum, I want to be satisfied, and we'll be talking about that at the end of January.
Yeah, that's also on my list. So I will give the next project that's also on my list, which is hopefully this is one of those asterisks that it may not come, but hopefully it does. Obviously, Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
It has the label of late 2024 right now.
Even though they're refilming the entire thing.
So it's on there as an asterisk. We'll come back to it, and we'll see how that plays out.
My number 3, it's something that I'm not sure you know about, Kyle, but it's something called Blitz. Do you know what Blitz is?
I do not.
So Blitz is a film by Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen, as some of you may or may not know, is the director of the great film that won Best Picture, 12 Years a Slave. This is an Apple TV movie. This movie stars Saoirse Ronan, Harris Dixon, Lee Gill, Stephen Graham, and others. It's set basically during the German bombings of London. By pure virtue of being a Steve McQueen movie, this will be insanely good, just in terms of pure floor. But adding that talent, making it very British, and he's British himself, I think. Is he British? Yes, he's British. And I'm just like, okay. Because right now, this is the sleeping giant. This is the sleeping giant in terms of Oscars next year. Because if Apple TV didn't have Killers of the Flower Moon, this would have been Blitz. Because they finished filming on this a long time ago. Like earlier this year, they finished filming. So this is something that has been in the can, and they're just waiting to absolutely unleash this on us this upcoming year.
The next project on my list was Squid Game Season 2. So I'll follow that up with the next one, which is on Max, and it is the official kickoff to the James Gunn DC Universe Creature Commandos, the animated show, which will be the first canon project in James Gunn's DC Universe. It is like Suicide Squad adjacent. The cast for voice actors is unreal, and I'm gonna pull it up here so I can riddle this off. We've got Steve Agee, Maria Bakalova, Frank Grillo, Sean Gunn, Zoe Chow, my boy David Harbour, Indira Varma, Alan Tudyk, Viola Davis. The list goes on and on. Creature Commandos. It's an American adult animated television series based on the comics featuring the team, Creature Commandos. If you enjoy the Suicide Squad, you'll enjoy this for sure. it's Amanda Waller assembling a Black Ops team of monsters called the Creature Commandos. So do with that information what you will.
My number 2 is the aforementioned the Sympathizer, which in case Kyle didn't emphasize it enough, this is set in the post-Vietnam War. It stars a bunch of people, including Robert Downey Jr. and Sandra Oh, and it's being written and directed by one of the great modern masters in Park Chan-wook, who is a Korean filmmaker who did films such as Old Boy, The Handmaiden, The Decision to Leave. It is known for doing lots of thrillers and stuff. So this is just right up my alley. It's right up your alley. It looks so well made. It's Park Chan-wook. I'm in a million times out of a million.
The last project I have on my list, and like I mentioned, this is not in any numerical order for me, but The Acolyte on DisneyPlus, which is the Star Wars series that allegedly, according to everybody who has heard any whispers about it, is going to make everyone hate the Jedi and fall in love with the Sith.
And in a similar thing in terms of hating the good guys and loving the bad guys, The Boys Season 4 is my number 1. So that's my top 10.
That was my, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13.
Okay. Do you want to roll off a few honorable mentions right now?
I'll let you start.
Okay. I'm gonna give a little long spiel here. So I have 2 Netflix shows that I want to quickly touch on. Drive to Survive Season 6 and Tour de France Unchained Season 2. Just two of the series that I just feel are the best in terms of bringing somewhat niche sports into just great fun entertainment. Like I knew about the Tour de France. I didn't care that much. Tour de France Unchained made me care, and I loved it. Also, I have to shout out my beloved Umbrella Academy Season 4. Even though that show kind of has fallen off, it's still fun. I did have The Acolyte as my only other Disney show, and it's just kind of a case where it's like, if we had a trailer at this point, I could have put it at number 10, but I'm literally operating off of nothing. Another Prime show I'll touch on, which Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is based on which is a new adaptation of the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie film with Maya Erskine and our beloved Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, which we may talk about that show, right? Maybe. Comes out in February. Max just has a murderer's row of stuff. Tokyo Vice, which is this Michael Mann show that stars on but it's a really cool thriller. The Penguin I had is one that I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. Dune: The Prophecy, which is about the Bene Gesserit witches, and it's just like, Denis not directly involved. You've already had to replace the director once on this. I don't know how good it's going to be, but it's Dune and it's Max, so yeah. And then Apple TV, I dropped Argyle. I already said if I 100% knew Slow Horses was coming, it would be number 5 on my list because that show's amazing. And then the most interesting one, and a show I think we may need to get you on, is Severance. Severance Season 2, I believe, is filmed, and it may come out this year. Just depends on how Apple stacks up their stuff. But that's the lone other notable honorable mention outside of like Season 3 of Hacks on Max.
So my list of honorable mentions, not as hefty. I do have Fallout on there on Prime Video just because I'm intrigued one way or the other to just see how they approach it. will I watch the whole thing? I think it'll determine on how it kicks off.
Yeah,
But I am just intrigued to see the adaptation at least.
what I'm most scared of is that just gets haloed in terms of like actual quality, which is why I left it off. But if it's good, I'm gonna be watching it because Fallout's one of the best video game IPs out there.
Yeah. I also had the Dune show on my list. Looking here. It's just funny stuff that is kind of just like let's have a good laugh. The final season of Big Mouth comes out in 2024. The Ted prequel show on Peacock also comes out. Ted, for everybody at home, the animated bear. Yes, it's getting a prequel show on Peacock. Looking here, just through the rest of this list. Yeah, that's kind of it, I think, for me as of now, with like stuff that has somewhat relative release dates. I'm also going to be like full send watching the Bad Batch season 1 and 2 so I can watch season 3 because that is allegedly coming out in 2024 as well. And I think that's the final season of that show, so I may just wait for the whole season to come out, but I'm also looking forward to all the animated Marvel stuff that's coming because X-Men 97, I started watching that, like the original show, and it's so good, and I hope for just a good continuation because it's supposed to pick up right where it left off. And I'm intrigued how they're going to approach this Spider-Man animated show as well. So we'll see how that plays out. And I don't know if any of the Spider-Man Prime Video shows are coming out in 2024 or not. But if they are, you can slap those on my honorable mention.
Okay. Should I just quickly run down my movies list?
Go for it.
Number 10, honorable mentions, Wicked Part 1. Again, this is a case of, even though it's John Chu, I'm just show me the trailer. The Bike Riders, again, in my honorable mentions. Juror number 2, which is this interesting Clint Eastwood quote-unquote final film, where so it stars Nicholas Hoult, and it's about a guy on the jury for a trial, and the guy who's on trial is accused of a crime, which one of the people on the jury actually committed. So that's an interesting one. The Piano Lesson, which is this who is it? It's a Denzel John David Washington film or something like that. And then Queer, which is this Daniel Craig film that seems interesting. But number 10's Challengers, which is the Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, Mike Weiss love triangle tennis film, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Number 9 is Nosferatu, which is a modern-ish adaptation of the famous Bram Stoker Dracula book, which has, I would just like to talk about this real quick. Bill Skarsgård goes from playing Pennywise to now playing Dracula. It has Nicholas Hoult, Lolo Depp, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, Willem Dafoe, and Ralph Ineson. Amazingly deep bench. Number 8's Twisters, the sequel to one of my guilty pleasure movies, Twister, which again has just an insanely deep cast. Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glenn Powell, your boy Anthony Ramos, Daryl McCormick, Mara Tierney, Brandon Perea, Sasha Lane, Kieran Shipka, Superman himself, David Cornsweet. Philly boys. They're all in this, yep. Number 7 is Furiosa, the new Mad Max film by George Miller with Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. Just anyone who watched Fury Road knows. Yep. Number 6, a film which, if you asked me about this a year ago, this wouldn't be on my list. Kyle, do you want to take a guess at what it is?
What would that be?
Gladiator 2. I went from not caring about this film to and now this may be Ridley Scott pulling me into a trap again, but
As soon as I melt, they pulled me back in.
this is Ridley Scott directing a sequel to Gladiator, which has Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Connie Nielsen, Derek Jacobia, I hate trying to pronounce his name, Jimon Honsu, who's coming back from the first film. Pedro Pascal's in it, and it's just like, oh my god, there's so many, like, it's Ridley, it's good people, it's a sequel. Number 5, the second half of the most glorious and screwed up Christmas double feature in history with Nosferatu, the unnamed Jordan Peele film, which all you have to do is say Jordan Peele film, and it's getting on this list.
Insert the Kylian Mbappe quote card meme. I will be there.
Number 3 is Megalopolis, which, so Kyle, have you heard about this?
I think we talked about this a couple months ago, I want to say.
So it's the new Francis Ford Coppola film, which it's basically, after a devastating disaster, New York, it needs to be rebuilt, and there's different views on what the redesign is going to be. This just has one of the dumbest casts you will ever see. Adam Driver, Forrest Whitaker, Natalie Emmanuel, John Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Shia LaBeouf, Talia Shire, Grace Vanderwall, Catherine Hunter, James Remar, Dustin Hoffman, Giancarlo Esposito, and the list keeps going. Just it's stupendous. Number 2, fresh off his Oscar in 2020, Bong Joon-ho's newest film, Mickey 17, a sci-fi adaptation of the book Mickey 7, stars Robert Pattinson, also has Steven Yeun, Neo Mackie, Toni Collette, and Mark Ruffalo in it. They'll be coming at the end of March. I'm very excited. And of course, number 1, my beloved, my dearest, made by my favorite French Canadian in the entire world. Eat your heart out, everyone. Dune Part 2. Denis Villeneuve, Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Christopher Walken, Austin Butler. Just one of the hottest casts out there. Yeah. My number 1. Cheers.
Quite the list. We will see in about a year's time how well all of our lists hold up. But I think without any further ado, we will get to everyone's favorite segment. It is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's 4.1% ABV, just 120 calories, only 8 grams of carbs. You can go to kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny Finder to see who has Kenwood Beer on tap this holiday season and 365 days a year in the Pennsylvania, meaning Philadelphia and Pittsburgh areas, New Jersey, and Maryland officially on the map. You can also get it at your local liquor stores, and you can go to their shop on their website and get these nifty pint glasses that they have as well that are absolutely spectacular. That's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. Christian, we got quite the Marvel dump on us in terms of animation during Monday Night Football, as we got another trailer for What If Season 2, which debuts, I believe, next week is the first episode, along with teasers for X-Men 97, the Spider-Man title formerly known as Spider-Man Freshman Year that I believe is now being renamed to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And I don't know if this was the untitled Wakanda series, but we are getting an animated Wakanda show on DisneyPlus in 2024.
Mm-hmm. That's happening.
Which is called Eyes of Wakanda.
I'm neutral on it. But see, Kyle, we really have to talk about the real bad news that came out that came out tonight. Pop Tropica shuts down in 16 days.
You're going to have to explain this to me like I'm 5 because I don't know what that is.
You are not part of the generation of people playing Pop Tropica in school on the computers? Shame.
Nah.
Oh well.
Sorry for your loss.
Oh well. Andre Brower, R.I.P.
I was just going to say, rest in peace to an absolute legend. That came out of nowhere, too. That just was like, holy shit.
Lung cancer, man.
It sucks. Was only 61 years old. Had quite the catalog of credits, and will be absolutely missed.
Should we cue the frolic music?
Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Curb Your Enthusiasm is ending after 12 seasons. If they don't end by playing frolic and doing a frolic meme, I'll be immensely disappointed.
Chris Miller says that they are currently, quote, knee-deep in production for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Quote, I think it's a very satisfying conclusion to the trilogy. It's somehow even as emotional as the other two films.
Okay, apparently Pop Tropica is no longer ending. Whatever.
That de-escalated quickly.
Yeah. We got the trailer for a fourth Beverly Hill Cop movie. Okay. Cheers, Amazon, I guess. Cheers, Netflix, I guess.
Speaking of Amazon, just a very funny side note, because we've been recording most of it. I don't know if you saw the final score of Thursday Night Football on Prime.
Was it scoring on me?
The Las Vegas Raiders defeated the Los Angeles Chargers 63-21.
Justin Herbert, guys. This is what happens when you don't have him.
That's going to be a big yikes from me, dog. Jacoby Myers threw a touchdown in that game.
We got the trailer for John Krasinski's If, which is an Imaginary Friends comedy starring Ryan Reynolds.
Color me somewhat intrigued. Christian, can you guess the most Googled TV show of 2023?
Wednesday.
Incorrect. That is a good guess, though.
Can I get the service?
You can. It is something we watched on this show.
The Last of Us?
The Last of Us was the most Googled TV show of 2023.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new movies added to the National Film Registry. Home Alone, Nightmare Before Christmas, Terminator 2, 12 Years a Slave, and The Lady and the Tramp.
All 5 very
bang, 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 bang.
Bangers. I know you're excited for this. James Gunn has confirmed who is playing Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy. Nicholas Hoult is your new Lex Luthor. Quote, we went out to dinner last night to celebrate and discuss how we can create a Lex that will be different from anything you've seen before and will never forget.
It's funny to think about how he tried out for Superman and failed, tried out for Batman and failed, was going to be the villain in the last Mission Impossible film, but had to leave to make Renfield with Nick Cage. And now he ends up with Lex Luthor. Just very interesting sliding door stuff going on there.
We got confirmation via The Guardian. The Duffer Brothers confirmed the stories of 11, Dustin, Lucas, and Hopper are done in Stranger Things' final season, with a follow-up quote of, yes, there may be spinoffs.
I don't watch Stranger Things. It's one of my blind spots. I have to catch up on it. Where is it? We got a trailer for Kung Fu Panda 4. That's all.
I've seen a lot of love for Kung Fu Panda come across the timeline since that got announced.
Yeah.
Barry Keoghan was asked if he's returning as the Joker in The Batman 2. This comes from eTalk CTV, which is a Canadian celebrity interviewing show on CTV in Canada. Quote, I can't really say anything about that. It would be exciting, wouldn't it? To see the Joker come to life again? My smile says all. You know what I mean?
I think I have one more thing to add here. Where'd it go? Aside from getting the trailer for Dune Part 2, which I'm in heaven, I can't wait. I have to wait 2.5 months. To which I say, hurry up time. Where'd it go? Why am I missing it? Oh, right. We got the Golden Globe nominations, Kyle. Have you looked at them?
I haven't looked at them, but I did see your quote tweet on the surprise of how many foreign projects were nominated.
Let's just say in this new year of this new Golden Globe era under new leadership, things be looking up, folks. Things be looking up.
We got a quote from Heroic Hollywood. This is where it comes from. Gen V star Lizzie Broadway was asked which Marvel character she wants to play.
None of them?
Can totally see this happening. She said Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah. I'm different at this point.
We got a renewal at Netflix. Blue-Eyed Samurai has been renewed for a season 2 at Netflix. Quote, Mizu has a lot more blood to spill. Saw 11 releases September 27th, 2024. I was correct. Spider-Man Freshman Year has been renamed to Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's coming out in 2024 as well. I guess Max made an oops on a technical glitch where Watchmen was removed from the platform for a minimal amount of time.
Yeah, that was not the best PR day for them. Considering that won them about, I don't know, about like what was it? Won them 3 to 4 Emmys, including Best Limited Series. Wasn't the best look.
Not great, Bob. Not great.
Not great, Bob.
Timothy Chalamet says his game of the year was Spider-Man 2. Timothy Chalamet, confirmed gamer? ?
All the power to Timmy. This is why we love Timmy.
Christian's boy, Ki Huy Kwan's been cast for Kung Fu Panda 4.
A movie that did not need 4 sequels.
This is
but you know, little kids.
Warner Brothers has made a deal to bring a ton of DC movies to Tubi to stream for free, including The Batman.
To which I say, Warner Brothers needs that money. So I don't begrudge them for it because I've already seen these movies. So joke's on them.
This comes via Deadline. We got Leonardo DiCaprio's pick in the GOAT debate, Christian. When it comes to Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, he says Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever.
Good boy.
Zack Snyder wants to continue his DC universe if Netflix got the rights. Quote, absolutely, no question.
Spoiler, they never will. The only way Netflix gets those rights is if they buy the IP from uh, from Warner Brothers Discovery,
Right.
and even then, he's already making his own Star Wars thing that isn't Star Wars that has gotten not great reviews. So
Wants to cast LeBron James in.
I when did Zack Snyder stop seeming like a serious filmmaker and just became a living meme?
When he created all the bots to boost up the Justice League.
But the question is, did he create them or did one deranged fan create a billion bots?
In the words of the Kanye West meme, I guess we'll never know. We got a new trailer, like I mentioned, during Monday Night Football for What If Season 2. It premieres December 22nd on DisneyPlus. Very much looking forward to that. George Clooney says the script for the next Oceans movie is finished.
Make it, you coward.
We may end up doing another one. It's actually a great script.
Do it. We all want it. Everyone who's seen an ocean movie wants these movies. Make it more. Like I don't care if you have to loop in some of the Ocean's 8 people. Just like give us you and Brad and Matt Damon and Casey Affleck and James Caan. Scott Caan. Just everyone get there doing heist shenanigans, preferably with Soderbergh directing. If not, just make it another very solid to good director, and they'll hopefully have a great time.
Netflix says they're making their first AAA game for PC.
Best of luck, buddy.
Everything they've made so far has been mobile games, including that Squid Game video making the rounds. The GTA games coming this week are also on mobile.
I'm different.
A Spider-Verse game may be in the works at Insomniac. Leaks from the studio include references to a Spider-Verse project.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I guess that is all dependent on if they spend $2 million to the hackers that have hacked into the Wolverine game. James Gunn says, this is a great word. Great phrase, I should say, because it's 2 words. James Gunn says cameo porn is one of the worst things about recent superhero films. Quote, if a character is in film, they have to have a reason to be there story-wise. I don't mind actual cameos if it's a glimpse or a moment, an Easter egg. What bothers me is when they mangle an elegant story by shoehorning characters in. They aren't there because the story calls for it, but for some other reason. Cameo porn, Webster's Dictionary, whatever.
This is why we love James Gunn.
Cameo porn has to be word of the year.
This is why we love James Gunn. James Gunn respects actual filmmaking and not just how do we show people the characters they want to see. It's just good to know that a major comic book studio has put it in his creative hands.
We got the first trailer today as we record this on Thursday night for Beverly Hills Cop 4.
All right, didn't I say this already?
Did we?
I thought I did.
Oh.
It doesn't need to exist. But it's Eddie getting to be Eddie, so I can't begrudge him for getting the paycheck.
Yeah, it's Eddie Murphy. I'll watch it.
I'll at least give it the time of day.
Yeah. Hayden Christensen wants to keep making Star Wars projects. This comes from Entertainment Weekly. Quote, I would love to get to do more. If such an opportunity presents itself, I'll be there with a big smile on my face.
Okay.
The Last of Us multiplayer game has officially been canceled.
I'm indifferent.
And another Entertainment Weekly Hayden Christensen quote, he says, playing Anakin Skywalker again reinvigorated his interest in acting.
Good for you, Hayden.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. You have anything else for the
Nope.
There it is, everybody. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, and on TikTok at StreamerSZN Pod. Follow Christian on Twitter at @thewiz_PHI. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you consume your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps the show continue to grow, helps more people find Streamer Season. And leave your show and movie recommendations in the podcast reviews, and also leave them in the YouTube comment section, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show, every show on our network, live streams, shorts, clips, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. Go subscribe. We need to get to 700 subscribers before the ball drops on New Year's Eve out there in Times Square. We are 30 subscribers away from that goal. Let's make it happen. Would love to hit it before Christmas, if that's possible. Let's keep it rolling. We're at 670 subscribers. Keep on subscribing. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And get your merch at phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your merch orders. There's been another edition of Streamer Season, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. We're going to go find our remote so we can rewind and fast forward some more. But until then, we are getting the heck up out of here. Later.